gotten the idea
Any
that,
will do.
that the fall of Lucifer in Isaiah 14 was about Jesus Christ falling. And,
Nobody would
David
ever
Spangler,
think
who
that.
is, or was the editor of the New Age Journal, is a Luciferian, and he has always said Christ is the same force as Lucifer. And this was the impression this young
What's
man was
that got to
getting.
do? She's claiming in these stupids, because I won't call them lectures, because there's no facts. She's claiming that David Spangler influenced the translators of the NIV to use Jesus as Lucifer. Whew, well, you can see the smoke
Almost
coming out of
certainly
my
not. You know,
brain.
Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Lucifer is a created being. He's a fallen angel, and he'd gotten this kind of messed up theology. And I prayed to the Lord. I said, Lord, I love my students. At that time, the Lord had not given me any children of my own, and I love these young people. And I said, Lord, I need to look in.
That's because you divorced your first husband. That's why you didn't have any kids.
This. Let's give it some time. And so.
I'm only bringing that up because she claims she's never been married. So yeah.
I became disabled. I went on a disability retirement, and it was the Lord's blessing. And
this whole disability thing never happened. All right, so I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't point this out. So this is a PDF file called Who is Gail Riplinger? Bedridden for 6 years or not? So she was bedridden for 6 years and yet able to go to the bookstore and the library, much digging in libraries and manuscripts from around the world. So she didn't just leave her bed, she travelled around the world. Oh. Overheard on one of our frequent research visits to the local New Age bookstore while she was in so much pain she couldn't leave her bed. On today's visit to the Kent State University bookstore while she was in so much pain she couldn't leave her bed. 6 years in bed, couldn't walk, laid for 6 years, lay in bed for 6 years, and on it goes. There's just pages and pages of all the crap. Couldn't walk, couldn't see very well, couldn't use my hands, couldn't grasp a pencil, yet she wrote a 300-page diatribe against the Bible. An absolute pain, 50 on the Richter scale, couldn't go to the library. There's pages and pages. I've got that out of the way. Also, the good news, you can now download New Age Bible versions on archive.org. Oh my gosh. The most amazing thing to ever happen because it's so important. But in reality, oh shit. In reality, she wasn't sick at all. She was doing her Masters in Fine Arts. So yeah, I just debunked it myself.
Wow. Word for word, every single word in the new versions, comparing each one. And as I started to collate...
In English, she got a King James, borrowed an NIV from the library, and if the word "the" wasn't in the NIV, then the NIV is the Satanic Bible. Right, gotcha.
I was just so shocked to find some of these things. I'd be glad to share some of the things that I found as I was collating the new versions. Now, people might ask, how can I know the truth about Bible versions?
You don't.
But the Bible's our final authority in all matters of faith and practice. So we look at the Bible.
The Bible says thou shalt not lie, and you lied for 2.5 hours. So...
what is truth?
1 + 1 = 5?
In John 17, thy word is truth. So we know we go to the word to find out what the truth is. Now, who is a liar? Okay, we want to know who's telling the truth and who's telling the lie.
You're the liar.
The truth and which version is telling
You're the liar. Yeah, answer that
2:22
question.
said, who is a liar? But he that denieth that Jesus is the Christ. He is Antichrist that denieth the Father and the Son. And so as I was going through these new versions, they would snatch away
give a citation?
the words like Christ. And I found that the word Christ had been taken from Jesus' name 43 times.
She hasn't got her charts with us.
In
so
the
she
NIV,
can't...
there are 64 64,000 missing words. Okay, when you print these new versions up on a computer disk,
That's because the King James has 64,000 added words, and the modern Bibles take those extra words out because they were not written by the original writers of the manuscripts, the codices, the papyrus. They were added in the 12th to 15th century, and Erasmus proved that. 1 John 5:7. Carry on.
they come up one disc short. And Gordon Fee, who's one of this continent's
Well, you're lucky because these days you can just download eSword. Look at all these modules I've got. That wouldn't fit on a disc.
a preeminent textual scholar, said, in fact,
I mean, she could get away with her lies back in the day because... Yeah. Carry on.
comparing each one. And as I started to collate, I would...
What does collate mean in the Gail Riplinger context? You already said it. Borrowing an NIV and NASB and not finding the word the.
It's just so shocked
That's
to
what it
find
is.
some of these things. I'd be glad to
Okay.
share
Please.
some of the things that I found.
Please share some.
As I was collating the new versions. Now, people might ask, how can I know the truth about Bible versions?
Well, you don't,
know,
because
but
you've
the
got
Bible
no
is our final
qualifications.
authority in all matters of faith and practice. So we look at the Bible. What is truth? He said,
hang on.
in John,
We're actually going to do some actual textual criticism in this series, the Action 60s series. That's why this is going to be much, not just skipping over things. We're actually going to do a bit of fun, have some animations, puppetry and stuff.